What up, what up, what up? This is Mike the Philosopher here with another one. This one, listen. This one is the interview for Chris, okay? Cover the women a lot, okay? I kind of cover the women a lot. So I decided to, look, we got to start covering some guys. So without further ado, I'm not going to hold you. Let's go in.
Thought I wanted to have him on because he and I recapped the episode, right? Last Friday's episode where we saw Chris being eliminated, and we talked about it. We talked about what happened. And so I wanted to, when I knew that Chris would be here, I wanted to have a guy's perspective to be able to talk about it. I did send him Jessica's interview so he could hear that.
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to be here, man. I know we're going to get into it, but first and foremost, okay. I do want to apologize for the verbiage I used with that young lady. I have apologized to her multiple times, even on that same day and also at the reunion. And so we'll get more into it later, but I just want to start off that way because that's what's most important to me.
Yeah, that's what, and I'm gonna say, like, you know, that was the one thing. I'm like, I know that, you know, I was talking. I just had a conversation with.
He kind of took Christal's steam out. I mean, she was ready to she was already recoiled, okay, and he just kind of just took her steam out, recoiled her. She wasn't ready for that. Now she a little discombobulated because she was gonna pounce on that, but Chris kind of diffused that whole bomb. Now Crystal don't know what to do, but let's see how it go.
With Nate, and he's a relationship guy on social media, and we were just saying, like, this, it's not right for either side, right? It's not right for men to talk disrespectfully to women, and it's not right for women to speak disrespectfully to men. I do think that we go harder on men when they do it than women. But I also feel like because men are, in my opinion, men are the head of the household, and with great responsibility comes, with great leadership comes great responsibility. So if you want to be seen as the head, then you have to, present yourself.
Yeah, and you also have to respect the head of the household too. You can't just go popping off because, men are the head of the household. Yeah, men are the head of the household, but that don't mean you get to pop off at the head of the household either. Like with power, she wanted to say with power comes great responsibility. Something I said in the earlier video, and that's true. But just because we are the head of the household, I mean, you should be respecting that. You should be respecting that position. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be honest. Women pop off a whole lot more than the men do. So it just is what it is. And we so used to women popping off, we don't even talk about it no more. But when a man pop off, wait a minute. This is not part of the deal. I'm supposed to be the one to pop off, not you. You the man. You supposed to take it. Nah, that's not how it works, ladies. Anyway, let's go in.
Self as the head. So I'll start with you, Mo. What do you think about that? Do you think that men should be held to a higher standard?
I think it's tough. If it was man to man, would we be saying it?
No.
You know what I mean? But man to woman, we kind of have to tone ourselves down and kind of, speak in a way where, I guess they're not intimidated, I guess, or and even so being respectful. You know what I'm saying? But still getting your point across. And
let me say this, and let me clear some things up here. Okay, first of all, I don't condone any kind of abuse, violence, or anything like that to man or woman. It's just whack. It's just a lower form of, maturity, a lower form of class. I don't condone none of that. The men shouldn't be doing it to the women. The women shouldn't be doing it to the men. Okay. Oftentimes men hold up their end of the deal socially, okay? In a social environment, men hold up their end of the deal. Even if a man see another man out of pocket, he's going to check that other man. Women don't do that. Okay? As a matter of fact, women may even cheer each other on and condone the nonsense. That part I don't respect. That part I don't like. Okay? Women, you gotta hold yourself up to a higher standard than what you do. The men do too, but the men, for the most part, is doing a better job of doing that than the women at this particular time, place, and time. Okay, so I'm all for, checking men when they get out of pocket, but they ain't the only ones that do it. Women, you have to hold each other accountable more than what you do too. Because I'm gonna tell you, Janelle don't have no problem popping off at all, and don't nobody tell her otherwise. As a matter of fact, her best friend Jessica, scared to tell her. She'll probably say, "Girl, this, that, and the third," but she'll laugh it off. You don't hold each other accountable. Stop asking men to hold other men accountable when you don't hold other women accountable. That's kind of where I stand with it. Let's go back in.
I think that's a balance, and I think that's something that men have to arrive at. We don't always get there at the same time, especially if we haven't grown up with sisters, or I know your mother tells you one thing, or your parents tell you one thing, but when you actually experience it and the emotions are happening in real time, sometimes,
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
Listen, everybody's allowed to have some emotions. Everybody's allowed to have, be entitled to all aspects of emotions. Sadness, grief, anger, happiness. Everybody's entitled to have all emotions. Okay? So this whole censoring men from having that emotions just because it's a woman, that's not even realistic, really. Men have a right to be angry at women, just like women have a right to be angry at men. I just don't rock with this whole censoring one side and then letting the other side just free fall, do whatever the hell they want to do. No. That's just not how I rock. It's just not. I don't like that. It turns men into simps and beta males, and I'm not that. So I see it when it's happening. I see it when it's starting to happen, and I just don't rock with that. I know I keep getting on a soapbox about this, but this kind of bothers me because we're all about checking and correcting one side of the sex, and we do nothing when it comes to the other side of the sex. Practically nothing. I've seen Christal kind of hold some of the women accountable sometimes, but not to the degree she holds the men, and she's holding Chris to the fire right now. I don't see that. Anyway, and if y'all being honest, I'm telling the truth. Let's go in.
And I don't want to go because I know we got a lot to talk about. Because I keep going because I got a lot of.
No, we want to know everything. And, I talked to Jessica for 2 hours yesterday, and we want to know everything. So I feel like people are invested in this.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, when you and I were talking back and forth on IG, I think this conversation is bigger than just you and Jessica. I think that there are some issues with accountability because, and that's why I asked Mo to be a part of this, because he and I have had this conversation about how does it end like this with men and women. So I want us to really be transparent about how do we get from and I also think a lot of women feel like as long as I'm attractive and successful, that's it.
Bingo. And
that's the biggest thing. Bingo. A lot of times.
Right.
Yeah, man. Right. Yeah, and I would say guys like us are most decent guys.
And let me say this, that that is a problem. That is a problem, ladies. You think just because you're attractive and you got some money, that's all you need. I think I said that in one of my previous videos. Like, A lot of women just feel like that's all they need to do is look good and have money. They don't have to have good personality. They don't have to be respectful. They don't have to be nurturing, catering. They don't have to be a helpmeet. They don't have to be none of that other stuff. All they got to do is look good. And this is why a lot of women focus on their looks so much. They focus on their looks so much that because they figure, okay, if I got that and I got, my own bag and my own money, I'm top tier. Nah, that's not how this whole thing works. Okay. I seen some of the most beautiful women be the most ratchet women out there. Okay. Case in point, let's just use Erica Mena. Okay, Love and Hip Hop. Y'all know who she is. Had a baby with Safari. I think the woman is gorgeous. Okay, but I cannot get past her attitude. It is a turnoff. I don't care how you look at that point. Okay, you could be the most gorgeous. I heard Halle Berry is a nut. Okay, I love Halle Berry, how she looked, but if you got an attitude, if you have an attitude, I don't want you. I don't care who you are. Halle Berry could come to me right now. I'll be like, I'm good. It doesn't matter, and women need to focus more on some of the intangibles, okay? You seem to be focused on the tangibles. Focus on the intangibles. How is my attitude? How is my respect? How is my me being a helpmate? How am I going to improve his life, really? How am I going to improve my man's life? What am I going to bring to the table / relationship? Okay, what am I? A relationship is the service industry. What service am I going to give to him? Okay, I'm not, because men ain't there just to be used and taken. And oh, I expect a man to pay 100%. I did this other video on this chick. She's a nurse, but she expected the dude to pay 100%. But she was looking for white guys. She wanted to do, but she's a nurse. Okay, so if you want a man to pay 100%, why would a man pay 100%? You got a career. Like, seriously. It's more than just about looks and money, ladies. I wanna pound that into your mental. It's more than just about looks and money. I know that, Mo know that, Chris know that, and every other man knows that. But when all you have to offer is your career and your looks, then men are going to get what they can out of that situation. And this is why men smash and dash, okay? Because that is all you seem to be offering. None of the intangibles. As a matter of fact, there's a group of women out there giving a lot of ladies a whole bunch of bad advice, telling them, don't do no wifey stuff if he's not your husband. Hey, you ain't gonna never get to be a wife if you don't do that stuff. So, hold out if you want to. Anyway, let's go in.
Guys, right? That's all a lot of women see, right? And then once they talk to a guy like us and they're like, oh, he's more than just a pretty face or a muscle or this and that, once you dig a lot deeper. Because it's like, don't get, we always say in our fraternity, don't get fooled by the pretty face. Don't let the pretty face fool you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more, it's deep, it's levels to this. This is just the introduction. Right. So now let's open up the chapters of this book and let's see what this book is talking about. I think I said you're a strong black woman, and I like that. She paused, stopped everybody, like, no, you cannot say that. And the camera and the production was like, he could say what he want to say, and I'm like, well, you a very strong black woman. Let's get to it. And the thing, when I did that, it aroused her. Like, I almost called my construction team to bring one of the wet floor signs because she was really turned on, and my thing is like, that's not what I want to come home to every day. I have to talk to my woman like that to getting a rouse out of her, to make her smile, because that was the first time I seen her smile that day. I don't even know, so that's when I said,
clear that, because we got questions.
Right.
Go ahead. What's the question?
She said because Jessica said when you mentioned that you're a strong Black woman, she did not like that.
Yeah, she didn't.
So what did you feel like? What did you say to her that made her? Because I'm assuming that you checked her and that she liked it.
Yeah, and then she got hot and bothered.
Okay, how do you know she was hot and bothered, Chris?
Yeah, well, you can look at a woman's face and be like, when you get like,
no, yeah. We can fake it better than any.
Oh, well, she faked it good. I'm okay with that. As long as I'm enjoying myself, you can fake it all day long.
Okay, so what did you say to her that kind of let her know that
Okay, we good.
Yeah.
So with that, that's when I led on to I want a softer woman. That's when I said what I said. Hey, talk to me softly because that's how I'm gonna handle you. And as Black men, I'm gonna say Black men, no other man right now. We're gonna talk about us. Walking outside our house, we don't know if we're gonna come home, and that's every single day. You know what I'm saying? So when I get out there battling, I'm not trying to battle in my household. And that was the beginning of me repeatedly saying that, like, hey, my woman got to be my safe zone. They got to be my comfort zone, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And that's just part of my culture, and that's part of I would say a good man, a good Black man. That ain't even a culture thing. I would say if a man wants peace, you're gonna want that in your household. That's your sanctuary. All
right, so let's go in on this. He said a lot. First of all, my interpretation of what he's saying is she liked toxic love. Okay. He said she got turned on when he checked her, or he said she was a powerful woman, and she said she didn't like that, and then he checked her. Maybe that's why he responded the way he did at the elimination, because he thought that would sideways turn her on too. I don't know. But Jessica said she didn't like that, but he said, no, she's used to, from what I'm seeing, he's saying she's used to toxic behaviors, toxic relationships. I don't want a toxic relationship. I want a sanctuary. Okay. I want to come home and I want to, my woman to have my slippers at the door, have my food ready, whatever the case may be, and I want peace. That's my sanctuary. She's the magic word, combative, okay? And she gets off on, now, listen, this is a real thing. This is a real thing. Let's not pretend this is not a real thing, please. Ladies, okay? A lot of ladies and men love toxic relationships. It's the only way they know how to have a relationship. Okay? He said she got turned on by it. I don't know. You ask her, she'd probably say something totally different. But I can see that. I can see her being, if not turned on, I can see her being used to toxic relationships. Why? Because she don't steer away from it. She don't steer away from that type of stuff, and she kind of digs and digs and digs and digs at a guy until he don't got no other place to go, almost like pushes him in the corner until he act toxic. This is why Chris was acting toxic at the elimination, because he felt like, again, she kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I'm more leaning more on the Chris side on this, just on this, okay? I think Jessica does or is used to toxic relationships, and she is looking for that exchange. I think she gets turned on by the exchange. Okay. That's just how some people are. They love that toxicity, men and women. Let's go in.
Yeah.
And then,
but Chris, let me ask you this: was this a one-time thing, or this was something that was happening continuously?
Continuously. If something happened one time, we're gonna give it a pass. But if it's a redundant thing,
Right. That's why I
and
was
it's
asking.
like, yeah, it's like, okay, all right, I don't know, and at our age, it's hard for someone to adjust if they've been a certain way for a long period of time, unless that's an individual that seeks understanding. Because I don't get mad and when people say all these negative things about me, because I feel that they don't have an understanding of me. And the people that speak good, okay, they either like me and just blind to it, or they understand me. Those two scenarios. Even in the midst of all this, I even had someone reach out to her like, hey, Jessica, if you want to talk about this, if you want to get public with it, and we all and find out and go dig deeper, I'm okay with that. And she declined. So once I see a common trait, all right, let me go ahead and address it. Mm-hmm. Right. And then let me understand where is the root of all of that? Where do you get this from? And those are questions I've had, and conversations I had on the phone. Like, what makes you feel so defensive? Is it work? Is it, and I understand the position she has or what she tells me. She's a woman of an authority. She's an authoritative figure in her company. So I understand that and I respect that. And I'm going to get to my 3 connections because those women are CEOs of their companies too. But it's a different mentality. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get to that when we talk about leadership and women roles and all the other stuff too, because I'm gonna elaborate, because that's 3 examples of a strong Black woman that knows how to be soft and knows how to make a man feel comfortable, with anybody comfortable, not just a man, but just anybody comfortable, you know?
Yeah, and that's a good point. Let me explain something I've kind of a conclusion I come to with Jessica. Okay. Jessica is a genius. Okay. Jessica is a genius. She's a high level, high thinking woman who is very cerebral in how she moves. A lot of genius people, and I don't know her personally to call her a genius, but this is all a hypothesis. Okay, it's not necessarily my theory; it's just my hypothesis. Jessica, it's very hard for geniuses to get in relationships with people because you have to deal with common-minded individuals. Okay, rarely will you have anybody to be on your level. Now, when I say she's a genius, I'm talking mathematical, managerial, operational. Jessica is digital. Okay. Chris is analog. Okay. They don't match. They just don't. Chris is on a frequency. He goes up and down. Jessica, it's either 1 or a 0. Okay. The thing with Jessica is this. Jessica, she is a owner of a coffee brand. She works. She's very authoritative. She has to run her company. She is the CEO, and she has to do her own sales. She does her own sales. She has to call up companies, bring out a persona of confidence, knowledge. That's why I say, pay close attention to what somebody does for a living, and I'll show you a big part of their personality, right? So if she has to do all of that stuff, it seeps into her personality. She has a very corporate personality. She's a master with spreadsheets. She loves to do spreadsheets. She loves to do, equations, mathematics. She is too digital for Chris. One thing Jessica does is she's a business owner, right? So she's a problem solver. Okay? Just by nature. She loves to try and solve problems. That's what she does. If she sees that you are not doing what you say you're going to do, Chris, you say you're going to call at this particular time, she expects you to call at this particular time. You're supposed to come over at this particular time. She expects you to be on time. Okay? Her whole thing is do what you say you're going to do. And if she don't understand something, she's going to question you there. This is part of her CEO hat, so to speak. Okay? She runs a different type of business than the other ladies. The other ladies, they run their own business. Well, I don't know exactly what, 3 ladies he's talking about. Because I thought Aries, maybe Lee runs her own place. And Aries and Kat, I think all of those ladies have jobs, if I'm not mistaken. But this is why Jessica and Janelle connect very well. They're both sort of entrepreneurial. They're both kind of stubborn, okay? And they both have a CEO mentality that can get on a man's nerve, okay? Their mentality is good for work. It's good for their business. It's good for their bottom line. But oftentimes, women don't know how to turn that off when they come home. Jessica is, in my opinion, is a bit of a genius. She's digital. But that makes it hard for her to have a relationship. Now, the only thing that Jessica can kind of feel is toxicity. Okay? She is very mechanical and digital with everything else. So in order to get a feeling, because she wants a feeling, she's still a woman, she has to get a back and forth. And a back and forth with a man turns her on. This is why I believe Chris. But so her perfect guy is actually a toxic man. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's a toxic man who also knows how to put her in check. Okay? He knows how to put her in check. This is Jessica's perfect man. That guy is not Chris. He don't want that job. He don't want that toxicity. He don't want to have to put her in check. And this is why he seen the red flags and he said, I ain't signing up for this. I'm very physically attracted to you. But your type of guy, that's not me. I need a woman who is softer, who is not going to be doing this tug of war with me. Because when I come home, I want to relax. I don't want to do more tug of war. I go out in the world and I slay the dragon. I don't want to come home and slay the dragon again. That defeats my whole purpose. But the guy that Jessica needs, he's going to be toxic enough to get this, back and forth. But let's go back.
Yeah. No. It's funny because on this show, I feel like when you're dating guys, when you're dating people, you guys are dating women. If you're dating a woman, you're in that discovery phase. Let me ask you this, Chris, and Mo as well. if you're dating a woman and you sense that energy that you don't feel is peaceful, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would be would you tell her that, or would you just kind of fall back? Because in Ready to Love, people are like, well, that's my connection. But we don't ever allow for, okay, well, what if I liked you at first? But
yes. No,
well, let me answer that. I haven't seen this before. I don't know what Chris gonna say. I don't know what Mo gonna say. But let me answer this question first. Most men will just ghost. Okay, they're not gonna tell a woman, "Oh, you too toxic," or "You looking for a toxic guy." You know, calm the f down. Like, you got too much attitude. A lot of guys ain't gonna do that. You know why? Because it's just too many women out there who do it. You know, and maybe men should just be telling the ladies, look, you too toxic. You too toxic for me. Okay? But it's just, men kind of chalk it up. It's almost like not expecting a baby to cry. It's a baby, so it's gonna act a certain type of way. So as a man, you'd be like, oh, the baby crying again. You know what I mean? It's like, it's almost expected almost of men now. So men be like, you know what? I ain't got time for this, and they'll just ghost you. So ladies, if you find a guy just ghosting you, you probably got a bad attitude. You probably toxic. You probably did something to turn him off. Okay? So my answer to that question is, yeah, he'll just ghost you. He'll just ghost you for the most part. The only time he'll tell a woman that, you know, she got a bad attitude or whatever is if he got some kind of care for her or love for her or like for her. Okay? A man who will love or like you, tell you about yourself, but a man who don't care about you like that, peace, deuces. I don't have time for this. Okay? So anyway, let's go in. Let's see what they say.
So how do you handle that? How do you handle if
it depends on how much I have invested. If I don't have much invested, I just fall back.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
No harm, no foul.
I have not seen.
I didn't really. If I'm not invested, chances are I didn't put all my eggs in one basket, so I fall back. But if I'm invested, I really like her. I start talking to other women. Something happened, and I think it's, you know, conversation needs to be had, and we can take it from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. It does depend on how much you are invested in that woman, but I am gonna always mention why I'm falling back. Just like I said about as far as being a softer woman. You know, my sister's a strong woman. Everybody around me, like if you ain't seen my sister, she probably the strongest woman come on. You know what I'm saying? And I love her dearly. So I know what that looks like, but my sister also is humble enough to understand and listen to her friends, her man, anybody, you know, to seek further self-improvement, you know. So yeah, that's definitely it, you know, on that part.
Yeah. So you did say that to her. We saw that the date with your ex. Were you still invested in Jessica at the point where you had the date with the ex?
Good question. She wasn't supposed to be on that date. Yeah, she wasn't supposed to be on that date at all. By that time, it was Lee, Kat, and Aries was my top connections. Because I've already mentioned to the producers, like, it's not, and it was actually something with Janelle too over the phone. So both of them, you know, and one of the things I've come to understand, there are certain people that cannot handle rejection because how their ego is set up. You know, so for a man, we've been rejected a lot, so we good at it. But there are some certain women that it's a huge hit to her ego, and it's like, oh man, he did this. Now I got to get my lick back. And
that is a MF fact, okay? Women, you're not gonna like what I have to say about this, okay? But I'm just keeping it real, okay? I'm Mike the philosopher. My philosophy is women have a bigger ego than men. Okay, they have a bigger ego than men, and it's attached to their feelings and their emotions. This is why the men can sort of get along better amongst themselves. The only time men get into beefs is if it involves some women. Okay, we don't have that much of an ego. Women have the ego. They can look, listen. Men and women have ego. Let me be clear. Okay, but when it comes to relationships, women have the bigger ego than men. When it comes to man woman partner relationships, women have the bigger ego than the men do. Okay? They cannot accept rejection. A lot of women, not all, calm down. Most, most women, they have a huge ego. The feelings get very hurt with rejection. I think a lot. I think a lot of what women do and how women move is based off of their fears of being. This is why women don't really approach men. They do not want to get rejected. They just don't. They fear rejection, and it's not just even just a rejection. It's just it affects women's confidence. Okay, you know, if they think that they the best thing walking, and then a guy that they like turn them down, that's hard to process for a woman. It's hard to process for a woman. So much so that they said that's the last dude I'ma ever approach. I ain't approaching no other man. They gonna have to come to me. I mean, it is shattering to the psyche, shattering to the ego. So I agree with Chris on that. Let's go back in.
I'm gonna do
It's
whatever.
usually the prettier the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's usually the prettier the woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what you said was something with Janelle. So was Janelle a connection for you?
No, let me tell you why. All right, so the cool part about it, me and Janelle had a phone. Nothing, at this time I don't know this lady like that, know. And she also was like, hey, we haven't really had a chance to talk or whatnot. I was like, well, Janelle, I am talking to Jessica, which is your best friend in real life. So in real life, I don't talk to friends. Yeah. And she further iterated with, with outside of her compliments, because I compliment her also. We both compliment each other because she's an attractive woman. Okay. Just not my cup of tea at all. But she was like, well, we're still in the process. We all agreed to do this. Jessica didn't want to do it initially, but we're gonna do it. I said, well, that's cool. I don't mind us being friends. Janelle is a sweet talker. She's good. She can play a fiddle. I can tell you that. And so
that is true. Janelle got game. She know how to in order to see, and this is, I was wondering how in the hell Quentin got all caught up in Janelle. He got caught up into that web, that spider web of female game. Janelle got G. Okay, she got the gift of gab. She know how to run that mouth. Okay, for the good, for the bad, for everything. Her mouth is her weapon. Okay, and it's sharp. She keep that joint sharpened. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mo, you had something said?
No, I was just I just didn't understand how somebody can confuse the strong when you put it in that context.
Well, I can understand because as a woman, when a man says strong Black woman, a lot of times that's seen nowadays as a negative. I don't think it should be. I think strong is positive. Combative and aggressive.
Black women is positive too.
Right. That's true. That's very true.
Well, let me put my 2 cents in it. I kind of side with the women on this. Okay, I can understand if a man calling her strong Black woman. I could see that being taken as wait a minute. What are you trying to say? Like, he did end up saying she was combative. Okay. So the strong Black woman could have been the starting point of this whole, negative turn. Okay, so that's why I understand why Jessica said, hold on, don't, this strong black woman, we already have a negative image about being strong and uncooperative and combative and all this other stuff. So I don't necessarily like that, compliment. The fellas here, they said, I don't understand how that could be misinterpreted. Well, I'm with the ladies on this. That can be misinterpreted real easy. And if you are, because they don't want, listen, I would say black women in particular, they used to like this. They used to like to be called a strong black woman, but they seen that it turned into something negative. It morphed into something combative. Okay, so now when you say it, it's like a side diss almost. Okay, you a strong black woman. Now that he called her combative, they're connecting the two now. Okay, they're connecting the two now. And that's the thing. And if you look back on it, you'll say that's probably the time when he started to feel like she was combative, is when he called her a strong black woman. So I don't blame the women for wanting to, disown that title. Because they probably see other women who are, don't have that title thrown at them, and they seem to get all of the good men, so they say, don't associate us with that, because it's not necessarily a compliment. It's not a prize. And you're going to look at me as less of a woman if you think I'm a strong black woman. I'm going to have to change my own tires now because you think I'm a strong black woman, or you think I'm going to be combative all the time. I'm not a man. Okay. That if Jessica corrected him, it's because she don't want to be looked at as like a strong black woman is almost calling him a man at this point. Okay, so I can understand why they want to get rid of that title, but let's go back in.
And that was brought up. That was brought up that because there was the whole scene where she kind of was going back and forth with Lee about the he can't buy me.
So, I got. You want to talk about that?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about everything.
So check this out. So I end up having to go to the friend date, Jessica friend date. Right. And at this time, I was already telling the producers, "Hey, put me on a date with Lee. Put me on a date with Aries. Put me on a date with Kat." They say you got to do a friend date. One of the producers said, "Hey, it's time to impress the girls this week or something. Bring a gift." And I said, "Is it Lee? Is it Aries? Is it Kat?" It was like, no. One slipped up and told me. I said, "I'm not bringing her no gift. I'm not doing it." And so, and this is what I think in life. You can have individuals, and I'm not just going to talk about her. I'm just going to say individuals where you can spend $1 on and feel like you overspent. And then you can find an individual where you spend 10 to 20,000 and feel like that's not enough to show how much I care about this person. Wow. So it's about the person. It's not about the item. It's the meaning behind it, right? So even getting to that day when Maurice brought his candles, and Maurice had a deep meaning behind it. It was his grandmother. They dropped the candle on the floor and they chuckled about it and laughed. Then pick it up like, oh, he bought a gift or whatever. And then with Lee, I went on a date with Lee and her friend Muffin, which I knew from like probably 10 years ago, right? And so me knowing the type of individual Lee is and how she defends people when they're not there, I was like, I want to show this lady my appreciation. And so check with Muffin, what is it that she desires? Because I'm thinking like workout shoes. I'm thinking like I don't know, Peloton. Like I'm thinking about all the stuff I'll just get it real quick or whatever. And so And so she's like, okay, she ain't need no pelts, but let me get it. She needs some slides. I said, okay, well, here's my information. Got it. I called somebody, a driver, to go pick it up and bring it to the mansion where we was at. And I tried to get that to her off camera, and the producer's like, oh, no, give it unto her on camera. And I don't want to do that because I know what comes with that, you know, what the perception of it, right? And that's where she was like, well, he ain't gonna buy me. And Lee like, what, did he try to buy you a gift?
Yeah.
No. You know, so don't come for her in those subtle moments. Those things are dangerous. And later on, I'm gonna tell you how dangerous an individual like that can be as we progress. Go ahead, Mo.
What kind of what were they? Flip flop sandals? I was confused.
Was Versace.
I had my glasses on, so I couldn't see.
Versace sandals. I just said whatever the latest and greatest, and get her pink because she's an AKA. So I'm like, well, get her a pink one. Or whatever. So, I mean, I didn't know what it was until she opened it on the bridge. That's it.
So you had Muffin go get it.
Well, Muffin found it, and then I called someone to go pick it up. So I just had to hire somebody to go get it and bring it this way.
Okay.
You know, and then the store, they just knew my information, and that was that. So that's one of those things. So
okay. So you just wanted to do something that she liked.
Yeah, that was it. You know, just to show, you know, that I care about you. Like, I mean, she's a good person, so good people deserve good things. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the.
All right, let me address the whole gift thing. And Jessica said he can't buy me. Listen, she was tight. She was just tight. She was tight that he bought Lee some stuff, some Versace sandals. She probably seen them too. They didn't show her looking at them. She probably seen them. Was like, okay. You know how Jessica do. She just do that. Okay. And she was tight. Okay. Now, do Jessica need sandals? No, she got her own money. She got the sandals herself or slides or whatever. That's not the point. The point is she was upset that he got her something or he got Lee something and not her. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the producers was being messy and told Jessica that he got her the slides, but that's neither here nor there. The only reason to bring it up is because you are jealous. The only reason to bring it up, Jessica, is because you're jealous. He can't buy me. Nobody said nothing about buying you. Nobody is trying to buy you. You're a CEO of your own coffee brand. Ain't nobody trying to buy your love or buy you. Like, why would you even think that that's something that he was trying to do? Like, do you think he was trying to buy Lee? This is why Lee got upset, or she was a bit pressed about it because she was like, well, what are you trying to say? He trying to buy me? He can't buy. He not trying to buy me anything. He's just, he's not trying to buy me, but he's just trying to be nice to me. I don't care what you say. No woman on the planet that I know of dislike gifts. Okay? No woman on the planet dislike gifts. So it ain't about buying. He ain't trying to buy her with a pair of slides. Come on. He ain't trying to buy her with a pair of slides. All he trying to do is be nice. And she want to blow it up into a buy thing simply because she's jealous. That's all it is. I mean, you know, let's just stamp jealous on that and let's just move on.
There's so much, and we're jumping around.
I know.
It's so many things. Before we move to the couples getaway, or it wasn't even a couples getaway, just
it was a getaway.
The getaway, right?
It was a get out of way.
What was there something that happened specifically to why you kept telling production, I don't want to go out with her again? Like, because this is why I'm asking. There's a lot of chatter online. right? That is basically saying that maybe Janelle said something about you. What is there something that happened that you did not like, that you said, okay, I'm done with this girl, I don't want to deal with her at all?
A multitude of things, right? And it was consistent. When you, this is what I always thought: if I can watch someone disrespect or treat somebody else bad,
yeah,
what's to stop you from treating me like that, right?
Facts.
Only reason why you're nice to me is because you find me attractive, you know.
Okay.
But if you're treating the waitresses bad, the bartenders, the production, if you're doing all of that, nah, that's not gonna work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you belittle people and you talk, like she felt like if she telling me where you come from and your prestigious family and all those stuff, that's gonna impress me because of where I'm at. Nah, that don't mean nothing. Like it's about your character. And you can't treat somebody horrible and then think, oh, you gonna treat me better? Nah, because you talking about them when I'm not there. You talking about me.
That's true.
You know, so with that consistency throughout the dates, every single date, it was something. You know.
So let me just get this straight.
Go ahead.
Are you saying, because when we talked to Jessica, she said that she has never treated anybody bad on the cast. she said that she feels like no one could give her any examples, and people are taking Janelle's, because we've seen Janelle's behavior on camera.
Yeah.
Janelle has said some things to people on camera. Her and Tequila went back and forth. By the way, happy birthday to Tequila. I saw her in the
Happy birthday, T. Love you, mama.
Happy birthday to her. I want to, make sure you do something at the end, but happy birthday, Tequila. But we saw Janelle mentioning Kira's purse. We saw her calling the other girls ugly. We saw her going back and telling Kira that she didn't like her. Like, we saw a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's not hearsay.
So
we didn't see that from Jessica. So
Krista and Mo, I'm both of y'all. Remember when Tequila said you can get it too when she was talking to Jessica?
Yes.
Why would she just say that out of nowhere, out of thin air? It has to be something behind. You see what I'm saying? Like common sense for all the viewers, she also contributes to the harassment and bullying of Tequila and all the other girls. It's just that she's subtle. That's where I'm getting to. I'm building up to where the dangerous side of a woman like that. Before you know it, it's you getting you ducking before you know it, because it's masked. Like it's like the art of war. You know what I'm saying? So I can see these different tactics. Like Tequila is not just gonna say you can get it too. And then y'all know that Tequila does have that vulnerability side. Like she might be the most emotional woman. I'm the most emotional man on the show.
Yeah.
Like both we two peas in the pies when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what people have to understand, that there are other things that you're doing. You constantly poking the bear. You constantly doing this. When you pricking, you pinching, you doing all these things.
Let me say this. I agree with Chris in this, and I think that Jessica, and I think I said this before, she is very passive aggressive. Okay? Very passive aggressive. She's not just aggressive like Janelle. She's passive aggressive. She will throw a rock and hide her hand. Okay? That's Jessica's style, her personality. I don't think she's the type to want to fight nobody, because she's kind of a little woman. Okay? I don't think she's the type to get into anything physical. So and she's very cerebral and very smart. So she knows how to use psychology to get to people, and she knows how to kind of mind F people. She could be, maybe it was a defense mechanism she developed when she was in school or when she was younger or whatever the case may be. She hung out with the aggressive girls so that she wasn't part of that clique. This is probably going all the way back to childhood. This is probably why she's cool with Janelle. Janelle's going to do her dirty work for her. Okay, so she has to ride with the thug. Like, I seen an interview with Jessica, and she said she love a ratchet time. I think her way of getting by is sticking with the ratchet people. Okay, she's a professional and she's cerebral, but for protection, she needs to hang out with the bad girls or hang out with the bad people. And she's not going to, so they can do all her dirty work for her. She's a puppet master. Okay. And sure enough, Janelle is up here, throwing darts at the men at the getaway, going to bat for her. Some might say, "Oh, because that's just her friend." Yeah, well, notice how she picked friends. She picked the biggest, most aggressive chick on. Like, okay, I know that they were friends before they got on the show, but Janelle is a bodyguard for Jessica. Jessica is using her as a bodyguard, okay? And you got to be friends with somebody like that, So she know that Janelle can be ratchet. She know that. She know Janelle can be out of pocket sometimes, but she excuse it because Janelle's job is to be her bodyguard. So she got to let some of that stuff slide. Jessica is passive aggressive and she's a puppet master. She's going to do stuff and say stuff that will, she kind of talk stern and she lean on you, but she don't want the look of an aggressive woman. She does everything but the look. She will, and this is probably why she can't understand why everybody calling her, combative. And I don't know what y'all talk. And that's how she can maneuver around that combative thing because that's that image thing I'm protecting. Okay, I'm protecting my image. You're not supposed to see that part. Okay, you're not supposed to see that. I'm hiding. I'm protecting my image. No, people can see right through your image. Okay, people can see the type of person that you are, and it is really just a passive aggressive nature that you have. It just is what it is, and Chris is right with that. I will give him that. You can't sit up here and insult all these people, and I kind of believe that. She probably is the type to sit up here and assault. Jessica kind of probably gets off on she probably has a superiority complex. Okay, she probably knows she's very smart. She probably knows she's very accomplished. She probably knows she got some coins in the bank. So she probably has a superiority complex, and she has a nature of looking down on people, and she has to be aggressive at her job and at her business, but she has to protect that image. So she's riding that wave of protect the image, get things done, protect the image, get things done. So she's learned the skill of being passive aggressive, and it's probably helped her in business, but it sucks in relationships. Let's go back in.
That you saw her do, because
disrespecting the makeup artists, disrespecting the waitress staff. Even when we had the meeting with the producers, the way they was talking to those producers, it was a very disrespectful manner. I feel you can, and Chris, I'm gonna ask you a nice question.
Mm-hmm.
So your interview with her, I haven't seen the whole thing. Did it feel kind of combative? It's just no. That's just like when they asked me that she had white qualities. You just pull the Chris. you just pull it. You just.
No, what I'll say. I don't feel like it was combative.
Yeah.
I feel like she didn't want to answer the questions.
Yeah.
But you can sense the energy. You don't actually have to do it, but you can feel the energy.
Yeah, I don't want no negativity around me.
No.
I will say this. I feel like a lot of times, and I told her, I said, Jessica, you are beautiful, most beautiful, when she was talking about her students, because she was smiling and she was really like, her energy changed. So I feel like, I don't know. I know she's, she lost a family member, and I know she's gone through, I think sometimes people go through things and they take things differently. I have a book titled Dear Alpha Female. It's not him. And I will say for myself and a lot of women that I don't know Jessica, but a lot of times fear of being hurt causes women to put up a very big defense. So I feel like it was more defensiveness. But I don't feel like I don't feel like it was I'm not gonna look at it. This is not biased. You guys, I talked to Jessica for 2 hours. I'm not saying that she was combative. What I'm saying is I asked questions and she didn't give me the answers back, right? Now, I don't know if she was protecting what, but
she got some good PR though.
Again, I haven't seen this before. Okay, she was protecting what? I just said she was protecting her image. And I even said this on an earlier video where I said people are protecting their image on TV. If you check the RTL review I did before, I said I have a sense that people are real conscious of their image on TV instead of being real. Okay, Jessica was among. She was at the top of the list when I came to that conclusion. So I'm right. Okay, she is protecting, and listen, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. To protect your image, however, your cover is blown, number one. Number two, people can see straight through it, okay? So you're not doing that good a job of protecting your image. Actually, you probably, by protecting your image, you're probably making it worse, okay? I think Janelle is ratchet, but ain't nobody talking about her, okay? It's pretty well known. It's pretty common knowledge at this point. So there's no material. But when you're trying to hide an image, and you're trying to hide an image and you're trying to throw a rock and hide your hands, people got to call you out for it. And that's kind of what's happening. And I said that in a previous episode, that people are protecting their image on here. Let's go back in.
Person go hard, I'll tell you that.
Well, she has a lot of great qualities, right?
Yeah, she does.
She has a lot of great qualities, but I'm not going to go back and forth with y'all about that.
No, but here's the thing, Christal. If a man was to do that, you would say, well, maybe you don't need to date right now. You would need to heal.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If she was on the other foot, you'd be like, you need to heal. Who hurt you? You don't need to be dating right now.
Yeah. Good call, Mo. Because look at Christal. I mean, she's a deer in the headlights, and she know darn well that is exactly what women will be saying. Okay. Now let me make something clear. Chris ain't out of the woods with me. I'm gonna go in on Chris. Okay. Because I've noticed some things about him too, but we haven't gotten to that part yet. But stay tuned for that, because I'm gonna go in on Chris. But Mo hit it on the head, and and Christal is just like, yeah, you're right. And she got a whole lot of people watching. let's see how she respond. I have not seen this before, so I don't know what she gonna say. Let's go in.
Yes, it's a little.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just explaining. I'm not excusing. I'm just explaining.
No, I got you.
And I feel like this is an opportunity for us to explain, but I feel like she was being as authentic as she has the ability to be. I also feel like at different points in our life, we learn different things, right? So I think that she probably will come to a different understanding at another space. So, or maybe not. I don't know. But I don't. So I just want to be clear. I'm not saying that she was combative in her conversation with me, but I am saying I didn't understand what the issues were. That's why I wanted to see from you, like, the hell happened. We did not ever hear what happened, but she also was clear that she didn't want to talk about it. She wanted us to go to her podcast and hear. So that was
there you
go.
There you go.
Oh, and that's fine. So I asked you for examples. You said you were rude to different people, and you saw that. I ask all the time, do men actually pay attention when women are rude to other people? Because I'm asking this, and I'm not picking on anybody on the show. We've seen certain behavior from Janelle. This is not anything.
No, that's facts. You ain't picking.
Yeah, we've seen that behavior. So Jessica said yesterday Janelle had more connections. Janelle and I can't remember.
You said Lee.
Lee had more connections than anybody. For Janelle to have all those connections and to be that way towards the other girls, that's strange to me. That's strange to me. So it seems like a lot of men weren't paying attention to, or maybe the women didn't care. I mean, maybe the men don't care.
No,
sometimes when a woman is attractive, men don't care about.
Yeah, and that's a fair point by Christal, but my whole thing is I noticed. I don't know if y'all been watching me, but I called Janelle card weeks ago. Okay? I pulled her card weeks ago. I had Janelle on the bottom a long time. Okay? And let me tell you, and I had Jessica on the bottom also. And she wasn't there initially, but she was dropping. And sure enough, she dropped to the bottom right along with Janelle. The thing about Janelle is she run game. I told y'all weeks ago that it was her representative. I said this. It was her representative. She be fake nice to the men while she give the women the business. I said that weeks ago. This is why the guys had a harder time deciphering the real Janelle. And they probably still didn't really know the real Janelle. I mean, let's keep it real. Like, she was only entertaining a couple guys, and then, I would say maybe closer towards the end, she started to show more of the guys her real personality. But she give the game to the men. She know how to run game on men. But she was giving the women the business. The guys did not see that. Okay? Most of the drama was happening in the women's lounge, with her about ready to fight Tequila and all this other stuff. The guys didn't see that. So how they gonna know? All they know is the conversation, Janelle, that they have on the phone. And when she at the hold down, she dancing and she having a good time. She know how to show the men all that fakeness. Now, I'll admit, I had a bit of an advantage because I seen all of that stuff. I probably seen more of Janelle than the guys did at that time, right? So I had a different perspective, and I could probably come to conclusions a lot faster than those guys because they wasn't seeing that stuff. So when Christal asked the question, well, what about Janelle? I mean, how the guys didn't seem to mind with Janelle. My answer is they didn't see it in Janelle because Janelle didn't show that to them. And for the most part, when they were all together, she was on her best behavior at the hold downs and all this other stuff. She wasn't popping off then. She didn't start popping off till they started getting at the end where she knew she had her connection locked down and she was going to be at the end. And RTL keep 5 to 6 women on the show while I only keep 3 men. So she had a lot of advantages going in her favor. But answer is they didn't see that in Janelle. Let's go in.
So let's talk about the elimination when you guys put when the guys talked and Tommy had Marie. I don't know if Tommy or production had Marie be the one to deliver the conversation, and Marie chose to use the word combative. Chris,
yes, come on.
What happened in the men's lounge? Because Marie said that when he presented it, he used that word, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this whole thing, Jessica explained that production told Marie to get up and walk out. All the other men said, no, I've never seen that side. She said you didn't say that. People are saying we've seen him say that. What happened in the men's lounge? Did the other men agree that Jessica was that way? What happened? And what did you think about Marie all of a sudden being like, so upset? Like, what the hell happened there?
Hey, everybody that's on the chat, please pay attention to the words coming out of my mouth. All right, so Marie, he was the one that knew that was a triggering word for her.
Okay.
So, and if let's say 4 individuals are saying the same exact word, right? But you only show one person saying it the 4 times. Now that a word is attached to that one person.
Yes.
If you look in further notice, Q even said it was a collective decision, right? Mario like, man, I knew I messed up. That's why he was so sad around that room. I mean, one, he heard her, you know what I'm saying? And then he was the one to deliver it. He chose to say that word. So now, let's go to me with the association of that word. The very first time I verbally said, you are combative, was at that table when I was getting eliminated.
Yeah.
The second time I verbally said she is combative was when I did what's called a pickup right before the reunion when I had on a blue suit and they played it in real time like I was saying it in real time.
Okay.
Before that, I said we've had combative situations. She showed trace of being combative, maybe like a combative moment. I didn't just say that was her. And we're we're getting confused in like the word, like it's not a bad word. You know, that was the word that I felt the best word to describe what it was. And that was the closest, that was true. And everybody in DFW felt she was combative. Everybody. All the people in the cast felt she was combative. It's just that it was attached to me because I caused her pain by rejecting her. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing too. Even once I had the phone conversation before her meeting my ex, I said, hey, we still can be cool. I was still nice. I was still like, hey, how's your day going? Trying to maintain a friendship, but I didn't know how big of a sting, you know, that was to her, to her ego, you know, because.
Okay. This is where I go in on Chris. That's his bullshit, man. Listen. You thought she was combative. It's okay. It's okay. Just admit it. Just own it. Even though the words came out of Morie's mouth, I don't think Morie views her as combative. I just don't. Morie is more simpish. And, you know, look, listen, no disrespect to Morie. I like Morie. But there's no way I think that word originated with Morie. I just don't. he seems to have Jessica back 10 toes down. So who else could it come from? Who else got a connection with her? It came from you, Chris. Stop playing, man. Okay? Stop playing. This is where I start to feel like Chris is a very slippery guy. And let me say this. This is the part that I don't think that Jessica appreciates about Chris. And I'm on the side of Jessica with this. You say stuff you don't mean. You don't do stuff you say you're gonna do. You're kind of snaky. You slither and slide into crevices that is comfortable for you, Chris. Jessica is the type of woman or person that holds people accountable. That's her job. That's her nature. She feels it's her duty. That's part of her personality. You, Chris, you don't want to be held accountable for nothing. Okay? You don't like being held accountable. Being held accountable comes off to you as being emasculated. Okay? Why I ain't gotta, this, that, and the third. Why I ain't gotta explain nothing to you, F you, and everybody you care about. Jessica will hold you accountable. You don't want to be held accountable. Even when she came to bring you lunch at your job, she told you, look, I just expect you to do what you're going to say. You're going to do. And you didn't like that. You didn't like that because you don't like to be held accountable. Now, all of this stuff he's saying about Morier, I completely... There's parts of him I agree with, and there's parts I don't agree with him with. I don't think that this word originated from Morier, number one. Number two, I don't think it's a bad word. It just happened to be her buzzword to get up under her skin. And people say words all the time. Why that bothered her so much? It bothered her because of that image that she's trying to protect. She's constantly keeping that shield up to protect her image. Okay. And that word combative, that's a bullet coming towards her. And she got to protect herself from that combative, probably because she don't want that to affect her business, her persona, and she don't want that getting to her employees and this, that, and the third, because she don't want to be labeled as that combative woman. I get it. I would almost probably say if you're too successful, you probably shouldn't do this show because you got too much to protect and you're not going to be able to handle it. Okay, if you're more concerned with protecting your image, why do a TV show? It just does not make sense. And that's what I think that she is doing. Now, the part I do agree with Chris on is the fact that Morier is a bit of a run-tell-at. Okay, he's a bit of a chatty patty. Okay. So I agree with Chris with that. I disagree with Chris about this word. And if you pay attention, he's going to try and I think he's going to try and sneak and slither through this whole thing. Because what I'm noticing about Chris is he don't like to take accountability for nothing. Okay. He's very, it's funny because I feel like Chris is a bit female nature in some things, and I feel like Jessica is male nature in some things. The way she thinks and her linear thinking and is mathematical, is almost male thinking. Chris, he's emotional. He don't like to take accountability. The problem is that he's a man and she's a woman. and you would think that they would probably connect somewhere, but they just like shoot. It's almost like different poles of a magnet. Okay. They just repelling each other, man. They cannot connect. And, now the ironic part is if Chris was more of the man, if he had Jessica's mentality of mathematical, this, that, and the third, and Jessica had more of the unaccountability and emotional they would actually make a great couple. They would actually match up. But because they are who they are, they don't. And that part about Chris, I don't rock with. You're not taking accountability for your part in this, bro. You're protecting your image too, okay? And you have a nice little excuse for everything. I refuse to believe that everything is Jessica's fault. I'm not no. Because I see what she see in you too, and that's you not owning your stuff in this, okay? Accountability. I mean, the whole combativeness. You said it. That's your word. That's your ideology. Ain't nobody else even got a reason to say she's combative because they ain't rocking with her like that. And the guy who is connected with her the most, why would he say that to her if it wasn't he only said it because it came out of y'all deliberation, and it was probably one of the words that he used that you said. But the thing is, nobody anticipated it to be such a heavy word to her. Okay? Maurier said it because he didn't think it would be a big deal. It ended up being a big deal. Now that's on Jessica. She needs to get over people critiquing her. I know she's a boss, but you can get critiqued. Okay, you can be critiqued too. Chill out with all of this. Maybe she put so many other people down, but when somebody put her down with something, she can't seem to take it at all. Like how much of a breastfed baby were you? How protected were you? Like, get over yourself. You are combative. And a word like that shouldn't get you all bent out of shape and where you got to call your bodyguard to come to the rescue. Okay? But at the same time, it originated from you. It's your word. It's your whole thing, Chris. Own that shit, man. Stop being a snake and slithering and sliding out of accountability. That's very female-minded to me. And that's very whack. Let's go back in.
But I just wanted to be clear because the guys, it made it seem like you didn't want to answer up to agreeing about that. And the other guys, all we saw was Phil say no.
Phil jumped out. I want no beat, no smoke. Phil, Aries, where your feet at? I want no smoke.
So I just want to make sure we're clear. Other men did have
that. It was a collective decision, just like Q said. These are these guys' words, so I'm not making it up.
Yeah, it was a collective decision, man. Look, who's in the house? Janelle. Who else? Lee. Kat. At that time, Sierra. And Who else? Aries. Okay. Ain't nobody gonna send Aries home. She has a strong connection with Phil. Everybody too scared to send Janelle home. Okay. Cause plus she got Quentin. Ain't nobody gonna send I guess who? Well, I will say ain't nobody gonna send well, I put it this way. Don't nobody want to send Lee home because she was still in between Quentin and Chris. Okay? So she had two connections. Kat, she had multiple connections. Maury, Chris, you know. So those two ladies had multiple connections. So that left Sierra and Jessica because they're the only ones who had a single connection or half connections. There wasn't whole connections like the other two ladies, Janelle and Aries. And the other two had two connections that were side connections, and then the other two ladies just had side single connections, if that makes sense. So of course it was up for them. Yeah, it was a consensus that she be in the bottom. She said she didn't mind being in the bottom. I don't care about that bullshit. Okay. I know y'all like, well, what are you talking about? Well, I seen the interview with Jessica that Christal did, and she said she didn't mind being in the bottom. That was BS. Okay. She did mind. Listen, she is a CEO. She feels accomplished. Here's the thing about Jessica. She has herself in the clouds so much, she cannot see herself not flying high. She cannot. She has a hard time humbling herself. She has a hard time seeing herself other than stellar. This is probably a pressure that she puts on herself to be the best at everything. Okay? And, you know, some will say that's a healthy attitude. That's probably why she owns her own business and she's doing well financially and things like that. And she's a beautiful woman. Yes. Having all of those, that attribute can get a lot of things accomplished for you. However, when it comes to other things, you cannot take criticism at all. You cannot take rejection at all. You cannot take anything that's something you can't control. You can't take that stuff at all. And that is that's very hard for Jessica to do. For her to see Chris openly reject her on TV, she don't like that. To have people call her combative, she don't like that. Things she can't control, she just do not do well with. And this is why, dare I say, she would not make a great mate. She would not. She would not make a good partner. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would take a special guy to deal with Jessica. It really would. But I still want to lean on Chris because this guy just refused to take accountability. And he want to sit up here and say, oh, it was a consensus with all the guys. Yeah, it was a consensus with all the guys, and I get that part. But it was largely due to you. And just own your stuff, Chris. Just own your stuff, man. Take the arrows that come with it. Yeah, I called her combative. And look, he did end up calling her combative at the elimination. But he still want to make it seem like, oh, it wasn't just me, it was everybody. If you were connected to Jessica and Morier was connected to Jessica, Jessica was still, I mean, she still was in the house. She didn't go home. But she probably wouldn't even been on the bottom. Kat probably would have been on the bottom. Let's not pretend like you had nothing to do with it, bruh. I mean, I'm not saying he's saying he didn't have zero to do with it, but he keeps sliding out of this accountability, and it's kind of making him look a certain type of way to me. I'm starting to feel like Chris is a guy that will just don't like accountability and would try to get things to a point where he feel like he can sneak and slither and slide out of stuff. And I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I know a lot of other people not buying it either. Let's go back in.
Up and you guys heard it. And then even with that, I think me and Lee had a conversation in her room. And at that point, I got kind of irritated. And I went up to Maria. I said, hey, you need to go tell this woman what you said because it's messing up my situation. So you need to go, yeah, I'm going to do it. And even when he communicated, he spoke in circles. Like, he really didn't just say what was said.
He said he was upset that you didn't own up to it and you were the one that said it.
Yeah, exactly. So Messi Maria, that ain't my words. I just saw it on a blog and I thought it was catchy. So, but that's the thing too. Like, it ain't. I wish that thing. I mean, everybody wish they could do things differently or whatever. But you know, at the end of the day, you guys are gonna see a certain thing, and it takes people like you and this platform to allow us to say what happened, and then the viewers decide on who they side with. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I really wasn't tripping because at the end of the day, this is deeper than this small situation of this show.
Right.
You already love it is small, but these concepts, these things that we're struggling with affects all of us. So I love this conversation. You saw I was excited today to get on there. And then when you say Mo coming, because I heard a little bit of when y'all talked last time, he gonna keep it real. You know, so people are afraid of those real conversations, right?
They are. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Shantia, thank you so much. So let me ask you this before we move on to elimination, Chris. The women's lounge and the men's lounge were a huge issue this season.
Yeah.
Because there's supposed to be safe spaces.
Oh no.
I would even at this point, I would not suggest saying anything. Everything was taken back on both sides. So from your perspective, what was the hole in the men's lounge? Because I expect women to do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Mo always has this thing.
Yeah, the Mo
men is supposed to be a safe space. So what was happening that caused
sorry, this is my side helicopter. Yeah. The Mo for us, and man, being transparent, it was Maurier. It is what it is, you know. Like, cause he sent a lot of group text, like screenshot both ways, and I hope you all listen to Maurier, so you can go ahead and try to say something about it later. He was the one that was really going back and forth. You know, Maurier, at the end of the day, Maurier wanted to be with Aries anyway, but Aries won't have that. You know, so it is what it is. So it's like they both gonna fall back to each other. Yeah. You know, and it's ironic, and I'm gonna get segue in this word. Jessica said, "Oh, I'm not into PDA," but you were PDAing me all day. You see what I'm saying? So let's not.
About that, she was arm in arm with you.
Oh, I swear I haven't seen this before, but I said that in the talk with Key2, I said I'm not really buying it. I said I'm not really buying it because with Chris, she was all hugged up and holding hands and all of that stuff with him. So I'm not buying it. She's not into this PDA thing. She didn't seem to have a problem doing that with Chris. Check that video out with Key2 too. It's probably done a week or two ago, but just check that out anyway. But I kind of agree with Chris I do agree with Chris on that because I was like, she telling you that, bruh. But she she got that in her. She know how to do that whole PDA thing when she into you. So I ain't buying it. Anyway.
We're gonna bring Marie in. Marie.
What's
up,
on?
Marie?
What's up, lying ass boy?
Hey, I'm a man. Don't call me boy. Don't play like that.
You're a boy, bro.
Okay, hold. Marie.
Whoa.
Wait, Marie.
Keep going.
Hold on. Okay. First of all, welcome to the show.
Man,
you know,
you respect me more than that, man. Come on.
I'm sorry.
How we gonna have a conversation? You gonna come at me like that?
Bro, literally just called me Messy Mario. Chill out.
No, she called you Messy Mario on the others, but you really are though.
You lying again. You lying. You're the only person that been shown as a liar on TV.
And here's where I listen. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know the whole story. But like I said, I do think Chris be kind of a little sneaky and a little snakish in some of the ways he describes things and how it went down. Morier is calling it out as a lie, just straight out lying. I want to hear what he has to say about this, but I'm not necessarily surprised that he came out that way because I can kind of see the lies in Chris myself. But let's hear what he had to say.
When you came up to that room, Lee was getting on you. Hold on, let's backtrack.
Keep going.
With all these so-called fake connections that you had, you know you did not have not one single one of them connections.
Wow.
Jessica was your real connection all the way up until your ex date. You said Jessica number one. I know that to be true because we shared the same connection.
Okay.
Moving forward, and when the ex day came back, it went to a hard no. All of a sudden,
yeah, that's
Jessica
true.
was your number one date up until it didn't start. No, everybody in the chat, did that conversation of him even make sense about why Jessica all of a sudden got turned on by him? Jessica's narrative is pushed that she is.
Go back and listen to what she said about that date when she said, "Oh, I kind of like."
We heard your lies already. We gotta clear all this up with you.
Hold on, Chris. Let Marie talk.
Okay. Yeah, let's debunk this stuff real quick. So you mean to tell me an individual who is being called by both men and women, everybody, that she shows no emotion, no expression. Meanwhile, you were somehow, some way able to turn her on by calling her a strong black woman. That don't even make sense, Chris. That lie don't even make sense. Let's put it together. Let's fast forward. She was your number one connection over every single person. You did not have no Katarina in there. You didn't have no Aries in there. You put Lee in there towards the end. Now, get to the house trip. Did you or did you not walk up to me secretly on your phone, texting and saying, "Hey, man, I don't know what I'm going to do about Lee. I'm losing her." Did you or not, right or wrong, true or false?
If I take, because I told you, I just said, listen, I just said you need to go say something to her. You asked me a question. You asked me a question. Can I answer it?
I just asked for yes or no.
Can I answer the question?
Let him answer.
I said, Morier, go and tell this one what you said because you messing up my situation.
No, we're talking about
the same thing.
I'm talking about two complete different things. This was the note that you put on the phone before. This is the first day. We in the kitchen. We standing in the kitchen. You typing a note because we had a thing about the burgers are on the grill. We know we mic'd up. We can't talk. It's me and you in the kitchen. Did you or did you not do that?
Say that you're messing up my connection. Yeah, you was messing up.
No. You're talking about the bedroom, and I'm going to clarify that lie too. We're talking about inside of the kitchen in your phone. Did you or did you not text me about, bro? I don't know how I'm gonna do with Chris with Lee. Yes.
Well, in what manner? What was I trying to articulate if I said that?
You were asking to see how can you create a connection between you two?
No.
Because you know it wasn't there.
Let me tell you.
No, answer the question. Did you or did you not do that?
Hold on.
This ain't even get nowhere with this conversation.
I just need a yes or no.
Me and Lee had a connection before we got to
Stop beating around it. That's not the question I just asked you.
Bro, you can't just set me up and then just gonna say, did you say this?
Yes or no?
Okay. Marie, let's because I don't think y'all are gonna get a answer out of.
Because he's lying. Y'all, the boy's lying.
So tell us from your. Hold on, Marie, from your.
Yo, this is wild, man. If y'all want to see the rest of this, go go to Christal's channel. I'm not going to cover any more of this, but this gets real heated. Uh, I'm only halfway through this. Okay, there's a lot more to this. So shout out to Christal. Go to Christal's channel to watch the rest of this. I'm gonna give you my final thoughts. Okay, it looks like he did know that was a triggering word for her. Okay. Question is, why is that a triggering word for her? That's something that Jessica is going to have to work on and do the self work about that. People have a right to express their feelings. Okay. People have a right to, like, I'm not saying that I mean, it's the word is combative. It's not a direct insult. Okay. When it comes to direct insults, those words or those phrases or whatever, I can understand somebody being offended by. But words that are not direct insults shouldn't be used as direct insults. You are combative. Is that an insult, or is that like something you know, a perception of sorts from somebody? I thought Kat said it the best. Like, instead of being triggered by the word, maybe you should, take that input and work on yourself. Like, listen, nothing can really the guys had no beefs pretty much all season with each other. Nothing can make men beef more than women, I'm gonna tell you. And it's probably vice versa. Nothing can make women beef more than men. Okay. That and money. And Morier, I think he is a bit of a puppet of Jessica's. Okay. Morier, now he got Jessica back 10 toes down. I get that. I'm not even mad at that. I understand that. And this is why I said in a previous recording, she could control Morier if she wanted to. She really could control Morier if she wanted to. Jessica really probably needs to be with a guy like Morier, because Morier is going to deal with the BS. Okay. He's going to go to bat. Like I told you before, Jessica is a puppet master, and she has everybody going to bat for her. She has Janelle as her bodyguard. Now she has Morier as her bodyguard. Okay. She gets on the Christal show and she don't hardly answer direct questions. This is what Christal said. She don't answer direct questions. She has everybody else doing her dirty work for her. She's a puppet master. Morier is a bit of a puppet. Now, some would say, no, he just recognized that Chris was a liar. Yeah, he probably recognized some inconsistencies in Chris, and Chris is not immune to any of this either. I said before, I think he is probably lying about some things. I do think he have a hard time taking accountability. I don't believe everything Chris say either. So between Chris being a little slippery, Morier being a little simpish, Jessica being way too fragile with her ego, Janelle being a hard ass. I'm running out of people to really, like I said, Kat, Lee, Aries, they're my girls. I rock with Phil. I don't trust Quentin either. That's about it. I don't really have no problem with Morier. I think Morier is a good guy, and he's holding this girl down because I think he got feelings for Jessica. He probably still seeing her. They're probably in a relationship. They're probably talking because he going hard in the paint for her. So I think they might still be talking. And I would even say that some of the things that Morier is saying, he is regurgitating from Jessica. Okay? Let me give you an example. Chris said, "Oh man, she was hot and heavy when I went hard on her, when I checked her. She got all turned on. I had to go get the help to go mop up the floor because she was so wet behind it." And Morier was like, "What kind of, that don't even make sense. Why do you think she would be turned on by that? She's not turned on by that." She said she didn't, what did he say? She said, well, he said something to the point where it's ridiculous to think she was turned on by that. Because when she got on Christal's show, she said she didn't like that or something like that. He probably got that information directly from her, and he is regurgitating what Jessica told him. She's probably texting him on the phone. She probably sent him that recent text that he wanted to show the audience. She's probably in communication with Morier even as he's speaking right on this show. So, look, everybody, listen, I love everybody. Let me start there. I love everybody, okay? Life is difficult, y'all. Everybody's trying to learn. Everybody, this whole life thing is a learning process. I'm not going to hold nobody on nothing, okay? I'm not going to hold nobody on nothing. But I can spot areas where they need to work on. I can spot areas that they need to work on. Chris, accountability, maybe even lying. Morier, being controlled, Quentin being controlled, except his is with the other buddy, Janelle, anger issues, insecurities. Jessica, her ego and her superiority complex and taking rejection. I could go on. Like nobody's perfect. I get that, and like I said, we're all learning. But all that being said, I'm gonna make an announcement that there is a new show coming up. It's called Make That Move. It's by the creators of Ready to Love. And I'm going to cover that too. But I would like a co-host for that show. So if you would like to talk about that show with me, like Kitu did, I'd appreciate that. Come on the show. Let's talk. All right. Hit me in an email, blackmanrankings@gmail.com. Okay. I'm looking for people who want to talk about some things. There's some more shows coming out. Love is Blind is going to be coming back out. Make That Move is going to be coming out. And on Make That Move is going to be some previous Ready to Love contestants. Okay, so you're going to see some of your favorite previous Ready to Love contestants on this new show. And that's going to be airing in October 13th, I believe. Okay. Hit me in the email, blackmanrankings@gmail.com. Let me know what y'all think about what I said here. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation between these guys and everybody on the cast and this season. All right. I'll be interested to know that, and I'll catch you in the next one. But first, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. All right. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.